have this little project today with the Wen generator. It's kind of become a pain in the neck I don't have a lot of extension cords, extras that is. So I was able to get my hands on this cord reel, and it is a 40-foot. It's probably just a tad shorter than that now, probably 38, because it was damaged when I got it. So I mounted it, hillbilly extension cord. I mounted it to the side of the Wen generator that I have. I used one of the bolts here from the handle to mount the top portion, and I did have to drill another hole down here at the bottom. I gave it a little shot of black spray paint to try and inhibit the rust. I used stainless steel hardware to mount the bottom part. So what I'm going to do is, yay, the rooster, I'm going to put in a double outlet, receptacle inside a plastic box, and of course you wouldn't want to use this outside in the rain or the wet areas, kind of, so to speak. But I'm going to wire this in here, and this is a 10-3 wire, and it has the portion here that I will plug into the generator as needed, and I'll have 40 foot with 2 receptacles, as opposed to having to find an extension cord and having just one outlet per se. So I'm going to use these weatherproof connectors, crimp, heat to shrink, and we use these at work, and they actually work very well. So we'll make sure we have a good crimp. Give it a tug to make sure it's on there correctly. We'll do all 3. And if you're doing this, you definitely don't want any copper hanging below the shrink part of your butt connector. That could be a problem. And then the ground. Yeah, I thought this was a pretty cool idea. Like I said, I won't have to look for an extension cord if I need to do anything away from the generator, and it'll be nice not having to work right on top of the generator. And we'll heat these all up to shrink them nice and tight around the wire. Or the insulation of the wire, I should say. Now, I've already run it through the box, but what I'm going to do so that the wire cannot pull through is I'm going to go grab a zip tie or a wire tie, however you like to call it. Put that on here, and that's going to keep this from tugging on the connections. I should have brought that out with me, but I didn't, so let me go grab one real quick. Okay, so now the rule of thumb is you want 6 inches of wire inside your box. So we're going to wire tie this up right about here, and too much wire makes it a pain in the neck to put everything together and pack it back in the box when you put your outlet and your plate on it. And honestly, I'm going to put 2 on here for what I foresee using this for. I don't want any issues with this pulling through, and I'm going to oppose the lock part of the tie so that it's as large as I can get it. Now, some receptacles, when you take the screw out, you're screwed. The way that they build them, they don't always like to go back in. This is an older one, so apparently I'm going to be okay. And then of course the ground, which is the green one at the bottom. In case you're not sure, these receptacles, the screws are kind of color coordinated, and silver is your white wire and gold is your black wire. And the reason I chose these particular butt connectors is they're super secure. They make a great connection, and as opposed to wrapping the wire around the screw, it's this is the way I prefer to do it. And you don't want to over tighten them because they do strip kind of easily. And then the ground. And then I'll use a little screwdriver here just to check the integrity of how tight they are. I know this drill pretty well, and I know that we're good to go. And I will not leave the 2 unused screws loose. You don't want them vibrating and falling off inside and possibly bridging in connection. That could be a problem. Highly unlikely, but in my world, it could be a problem. Okay, so now I've got the zip ties in here. They're not going to allow this to pull through. So now I can kind of pack this down inside. And we're going to screw that down. And yeah, these are all fine thread, and they take like 2 years to screw down with a screwdriver. So using the screw gun is the most expeditious way of doing this. Again, you don't want to over tighten them so they strip. And then we have our plate we're going to put on, and that's just, it's not weatherproof at all. It's just a precaution so that you don't stick your finger in there accidentally when you're plugging or unplugging things. Little kids, the wife. Oh man, can you imagine the wife sticking her finger in there? You never hear the end of it. And that's it. So I'm going to go grab something that works off electricity, start the generator up, and we're going to try this out and see how it works. We'll be right back. Okay, so here we are about 15, 18 feet from the generator. And the 300-year-old shop vac was the easiest thing to find. So we've got it plugged into our receptacle. So yeah, we're good to go. In case you couldn't hear me, I said, yeah, we're good to go. Again, I just thought I'd make this quick video in case somebody else thought like I do and wanted to extend the reach of their generator without working right on top of it. So you guys have a great Saturday. It's Saturday, November 14th. And almost forgot. What I was saying in the previous video, I didn't want to say anything because the universe is always against me, but let me shut this generator off for a moment. Yeah, so anyway, the universe is usually really against me, and I found we've been looking for a smaller house on more land for the last couple of years anyway, since I've been back from Arizona. 2 years last month actually, and finally found one. It's in New York State. It's a smaller home. It's got a big pond. It's got a huge workshop, which is like the icing on the cake. I've got 5 more acres than I do here. I've got 13 here. The house in New York has 18. A couple of big pastures, which will make the horses happy. The pond will make the ducks happy. And we closed on it a week ago yesterday, last Friday. So I'm going to be selling off some of the things that I really don't need. My house, where I'm at right now, that's going to be coming up for sale soon. And hopefully by early spring, we're going to make the transition to the New York house. And we will get our garden going and the horse pasture built and the workshop all set up. I'm actually pretty excited. Not a lot excites me anymore. State of the world and so on. I'm sure a lot of you can understand. But yeah, it's all looking positive for a change. And I'll keep you guys posted on that, of course. Show you what's going on. And I don't know if he's in the view, but this is Cato, my Doberman. He got into some pork. Unfortunately, him and pork do not get along, so he's under the weather today. But the rooster seems to be doing just dandy. So again, you guys have a great Saturday, and we'll talk soon. Thanks.